I had a hemorrhagic stroke in 2017. So a blood vessel broke in my brain, being told I would never work again. So my left side doesn't work right. My left foot sprains a lot and swells up, and it makes it hard for me to walk. You may notice that in the office, I walk with a limp. But overall, I think that I'm progressing. I have less bad days and more good days. It's not hopeless. It's hope. Hope itself can drive plasticity in your brain so that you function better. Hey, good afternoon. This is my podcast, and I'm Dr. Joe Schneider with the Hope Brain and Body Recovery Center. So I want to update you a little bit on what the Hope Center is evolving into. So we're evolving into a full regenerative medicine center. Hope Brain and Body Recovery Center and Hope Regenerative Medicine Center. So we're going to be we'll have medical doctors on staff. We have a nurse practitioner that will be in the office, and I'll be the functional neurologist and chiropractor in the office. We also have employed a medical doctor who stayed home most of her years taking care of her family. Now she's getting back into doing rehabilitation, and she really loves working in the office with the children, doing neurofeedback and rehabilitative exercise with them. So we got a really exciting staff. We still have Joey Quirk, who has been attending Westchester University, getting his master's degree, and finally to his PhD in exercise physiology. So we have a really great staff that can execute the plans and the technology that we have in the office. So, our office is dedicated to brain injury, regardless what the brain injury was caused from. Could it be a developmental disorder? Could be a developmental disorder plus TBI. Could be a developmental disorder plus TBI plus long COVID or long Lyme. It can get very complicated, and it can present itself in many different comorbidities. Right now, we're dealing with a lot of patients that have POTS, Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia syndrome, or you can say it's Postural Orthostatic tension syndrome. So whether you're monitoring your heart rate or you're monitoring changes in the blood pressure, it's all about blood getting to the brain. And what we have to do is we have to evaluate your entire nervous system. Now, that takes a lot of diagnostic skill. It takes some really great technology that we have in the office that can measure. And so the reason we want to get a baseline on patients, we want to get a baseline on your entire neurological function, your brain, which is made up of many different lobes, and each one of the lobes has many different functions that makes you mentally, emotionally, and physically competent. It can drive your autonomic nervous system so that you get the energy that you need, oxygen, glucose, ketones, to your body so that you can function. So if you go to do a task, everything should work automatically so that you can function throughout your day. Now, patients who have brain injury, and now we have a lot of young patients with brain injury due to COVID and the vaccine itself because of the cytokine storm. So the cytokine storm is your body's reaction to the COVID-19 virus. So your body will respond by making a immunological inflammatory cascade that will kill the virus. Well, it can overreact, which is what COVID makes the body do, is overreact. People can get very sick. They get high fevers. Or we're finding people cannot get very sick. They can just have mild infections, and yet the virus is killed, but the nervous system is affected and weakened. So if you have interconnections going out and your body gets rid of 2 and saves 3, that means that 2/5 of your nervous system isn't functioning like it was before. Well, can you imagine that you have many, many millions and billions of tracts throughout the body, many billions of interconnections that are communicating from one point of the brain to the next so that you can function properly, that you can remember things, that you can process or figure it out. You can multitask. You can read with your eye movements, and you can look at computers, and you can go into a crowded restaurant and have a nice dinner even though it's loud. No, loud sounds can affect people. Light, visual effects can affect people. So it's just your entire nervous system gets weakened. And we know from degenerative diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and dementia that patients are having a really good amount of neuroinflammation. Neuroinflammation causes neurodegeneration. Degeneration or neural death can cause neural death. So the architecture of your brain, the amount of neurons and interconnections you have, is less. So if you have 100 in your brain and your brain's working fantastic, and now you have 80, then it's not working as well. And then if you have 50, it's not working as well. So modern and contemporary neuroscience is going to look at 2 things that are very, very important for recovery. So we're called the Hope Brain and Body Recovery Center, because we just don't want to measure your weakness. We want to get you strong again. And to get you strong again, then we have to use technologies that will accelerate plasticity, which means we want to grow more interconnections or more wires. And we also want to grow new neurons from stem cells. So to do that, you have to go through 2 phases. And you have to go through 2 phases. You can't ignore one phase for the other. So I'm really proud. I've been doing this for 37 years. I started with functional neurology in 1989. So I get a phone call, ring, 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 ring. Hello, Dr. Joe. Why should we come to your center versus another center? Well, I've been doing it for 37 years. Thousands of patients that I've worked with. Thousands. Now, everybody can make that claim that they work with thousands of patients, but I can tell you, having a busy chiropractic office, a busy brain balance centers for kids with neurodevelopmental disorders. I had 3 businesses, and I've been working with kids, teenagers, college children, college kids, college children. Well, when they come to us, they're children. When they leave, they're young adults. So, and even the elderly. So we know how to bring back brains. So the first thing we have to do is evaluate neuroinflammation, inflammation within the body that can be causing you to have death of your nerves, death of your neurons. So we want to see that what that is about. So you have to do functional medicine testing. Throughout the country and out around the world, we are understanding that without looking at metabolic issues in the body, without looking at allergies and sensitivities and autoimmunity, and not evaluating it properly and missing something, that we're not going to get the proper plasticity happening in the brain, which is what we want to do. Now, also throughout the industry, they may be doing functional medicine and then they're not doing functional neurology. Well, if you've lost something and you do functional medicine, you can regain some of your neurology. But it's so much better when you can get into a program that helps to rebuild your nervous system so that you get to optimize it. And optimizing it doesn't mean we're just doing bedside practice. Bedside practice is powerful. I grew up in this profession doing knee-to-knee bedside exams and looking at the nervous system through my exams to develop a program for rehabilitation. But now we have such great technology that we can measure function. The function that we measure, number one, we do high-level neurofeedback in the office. We do high-level neurofeedback. Brain Core and Brain Master, we have the best systems for each one. You can't get better than what we have. We look at your brain, how it's communicating, where the weaknesses are, and also where you can have overstimulation. You can have excitability in the brain, and then you can have inhibition. And we want to make sure that it's balanced so that you don't have too much excitement and then too little function with inhibition. So we do that. Then we look at your eye movements. Right now we have the best technology for eye movements. It's Neuralign AI. So we do Neuralign. We have goggles that measure, and then we have goggles that can rehabilitate eye movements. So we have that in the office. We will be getting a chair that goes along with the goggles so that we can assess, treat, reassess, and know the exact amount of progress that we're making with each patient. We do balance testing. We use CAP system. The CAP system has been the standard for years. It's expensive, but it's the best. So we have it in the office. We have a vital scan. Right now, we're not doing tilt table. I find the patients can get too uncomfortable with tilt table. So we're using the vital scan. We do Valsalva maneuver, which is bearing down, like you're having a bowel movement or you're holding your breath, and then deep breathing and standing. And we get good numbers, very good numbers that are comparable to the tilt table test without all the side effects that people get, passing out, getting sick to their stomach, nausea, and so forth. Then we do the CRIOS test for cognitive function. It used to be called the Cambridge Brain Science test. But now the CRIO test, it looks at 12 different functions of cognitive function. And we get a baseline for that. So once we have a baseline, a functional neurological baseline, and we understand the extent of the weaknesses of your nervous system, then we get to work. All right, what type of functional medicine testing should we do? What type of strategies should we do within the office to get the patient better? Now, not everyone can do an intensive. And throughout the industry for years, people have been doing 1 week intensive where they're treated 50 minutes 3 times a day, or 2 weeks, 50 minutes 3 times a day. It could vary. We could be doing any type of system with an intensive, or we won't recommend an intensive. An intensive may not be the best use of your time, your energy, and your finances. You may need to have a longer term program. So we may turn it into something where we could see you for 1 week once a day, or we could see you for 4 weeks once a day, or we could see you over 6 weeks once a day. It's all about how badly your body is functioning metabolically and neurologically. Because when they're both functioning terrible, then your life impact is incredibly severe. And what is life impact? Life impact is, can you work? Can you get out of bed in the morning? Can you have relationships? Can you communicate? Are your emotions stable? Are you able to cognitively process things the way you should to be able to live a normal life? So it's about performance. Can you perform in your life? So that's where it comes in the technologies that we use within our office to affect all those things. So we use neurofeedback. We can either do a brain core 4-system neurofeedback, or we can do a brain master 19-point neurofeedback to go to those areas of the brain that are weak. Now with regenerative medicine, we're using also push patches or iontophoresis for glutathione, for NAD+, to get the mitochondria and get your cells to start to function at a high level. So when the mitochondria and your cells are not functioning at a high level, you're not producing the chemicals that you need for your body to function right. So get the functional medicine, do the testing, know exactly what you need nutritionally. Then within the office, we have neurofeedback, we have zirconia lasers, we have multi-radiance lasers, we have PEMF, which is pulse electromagnetic field therapy that our patients love. We use oxygen and concentrators. We have hydrogen therapy. We do whole body vibration using sonics, which is like standing on a speaker. So the frequencies that we program into the vibration machines are exact. So we do exact therapies. We also have a virtualis, which we use goggles for virtual reality to actually start to exercise visual systems, balance systems, neck movement, and so forth. We have exercise with O2. Now, there's a lot of controversy. Should you be doing hyperbarics versus exercise with O2? Well, in my experience, when you do it right, and we do it extremely right, when you put a patient on exercise with oxygen, you start to look at the control systems for O2, for oxygen in your blood, for heart rate, and then the patients, when we do re-exams with the vital scan, we can see a definitive improvement in the control mechanisms for those systems, which is very, very important, especially with people with POTS, or general term dysautonomia. Then you have to look at the digestive tract. If you're dysautonomic, then part of the autonomic nervous system is going to control digestion, right? From your lips all the way through to your anus. It's just the way it is. It's a complex set of interchange to get the nutrients you need in your body to develop your immune system and immune aspects of communication. And everybody's talked about the gut brain. Your second brain is in your gut. Gut brain effects. Well, you know what? The brain gut is more important than the gut brain. They both have to be working. So we've gotten a lot of people that have had irritable bowel syndrome or Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, that when you improve your brain function, then all the functional medicine that you did works better. It works better. And so we have that experience with those types of cases. And then the regenerative medicine is going to be a new, real surprise for the office. Our patients are going to benefit from it for more long-term effects of their care and fuller response to care. Now everybody says, you're going to fix me. Well, fix her as near normal as possible. We're gonna bring you toward 60 to 70% toward your function. Then giving you things to do at home, changing lifestyle, putting you on a good nutritional program will really help. Now, our favorite program would be a ketogenic-like diet. Ketosis is something that a brain that's been injured likes better than sugar. So ketones help with autophagy, which means it helps clean up the brain. It helps decrease neuroinflammation, and it puts you on a path to healing. So ketogenic diet really helps. It's the diet that I use. I've tried to get off of keto, but it doesn't work. So I'm on keto. I'm a ketogenic doctor. And not only am I a ketogenic doctor, but I like all forms of keto, which could be a paleo form, a carnivore form, a Mediterranean diet form. So we want to look at that on a complete level so that we can get your body and brain in sync again. So there's a lot of centers across the country. I don't know. I feel my center is the most complete. It's the one that has 37 years of experience behind it. I've seen probably the most patients than anybody in our profession. I've had 3 centers. I've worked hard in all 3 centers. And I've seen a variety of cases and severe enough cases that we can apply our experience and our knowledge to getting you better from POTS. The last thing I want to talk about is that my journey, my path, has been riddled with injury. So in 2004, I had my first major injury. I had a traumatic brain injury from an auto accident. I broke my hand. I herniated a disc in my low back. And I recovered from that. And I functioned better, not fully, but I functioned much better. And I used the technologies that I have in the office to do that. And then in 2013, I got rear-ended by a drunk driver. It was a hit and run. And I got worse. My dysautonomia that I had gotten from the first accident got worse. Now, from the first accident, getting through, I had dysautonomia. My blood pressure went up after the accident to 160 over 100. And it was 160 over 100 when I sat down. When I stood up, it was fine. So when I stood up and I worked, I was at 120 over 80 and everything was functioning great. But as long as I sat down or I went to sleep, my blood pressure went up. And sometimes it went up a lot higher. After the second accident, my blood pressure was basically out of control. And I actually went to the Carrick Brain Institute down in Dallas, Texas. At the time, Dr. Carrick had a Carrick Brain Centers. And I got care there, and I did a lot of unique therapies that really, really helped me with my blood pressure. But then, things happen in life that you don't expect and you don't want. I had a hemorrhagic stroke in 2017. So a blood vessel broke in my brain, and I had a scab in my basal ganglion on the left side. And then I had a injury to my thalamus. So I've been having, and I deal with right now, issues with my blood pressure, with paralysis, and with chronic pain. I've come a long way from not thinking that I would ever work again, being told I would never work again, to working with Dr. Mike Rodario, which is a fantastic functional neurologist on Long Island, by working with Dr. Ted Carrick and Dr. Matt Antonucci at the Plasticity Brain Center, and coming along to a point where I really have one of the best brain centers in the world. There's a lot of great practitioners out there. And I feel like I'm on the top of the list. And so from my experience and from the chronic issues that I deal with on a daily level, it's left me humbled maybe a touch arrogant, but it's something that challenges me every day. So my left side doesn't work right. My left foot sprains a lot and swells up, and it makes it hard for me to walk. You may notice that in the office, I walk with a limp. But I have chronic pain from my thalamus. And so I have facial pain. I have shoulder pain. My arm hurts. My hand feels like it's got it's heavy, got tons of pins and needles in it. My whole torso is in pain. My hip, my leg, and my foot on my right side are all in chronic pain. And it fluctuates. Some days it's around a 2 out of 10. And those days I thank God for. Other days it's 4 or 5. And if I get tired, if I stress myself too much, which was part of the plan, to work and work really hard, then I can get the pain up to 8, sometimes 10. Then it knocks me out. And I go to sleep and I wake up at night with pain. But overall, I think that I'm progressing. I have less bad days and more good days. I have better brain function. I have better memory. I have better cognitive function. So it's not hopeless. It's hope. Hope itself can drive plasticity in your brain so that you function better. So I wanted to be short-winded. I'm usually long-winded. So this is Dr. Joe Schneider from the Hope Brain and Body Recovery Center. We are dedicated to having the personnel and the technologies in the office to do the best care that we can give, to measure, get a baseline, and then treat you, remeasure, find that better baseline, and then get you as best you can be in this world where we have a lot of brain injury. So, sending my love to everybody out there. I send you my prayers. I'm a prayer warrior. I pray more now than I ever have in my entire life. And everybody that calls and every patient that calls, I take a moment to say prayers for, so that we have God on our side and we can move forward with the love of God and the love of country. Thank you very much and have a great day. Enjoy.
Thank you for joining us on My POTS podcast. If you're looking for more support, visit us at hopebraincenter.com or follow our journey on TikTok, where we share daily insights and inspiration. Remember, healing is possible. I'm living proof. I'm Dr. Joseph Schneider, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring paths to recovery.